Imagine if you had a program builder that could take input variables for the type of session you want to deliver and then chuck out a perfectly planned session based on your own knowledge base. So that it's not a generic program, but it's personalized, individualized, and it's based on your own knowledge. Well, that's exactly what I've done inside of this Hyrox specific training program generator using the Zapier platform, which is essentially going to use this form to input exactly what you want from the session based on who's in the session, how long it's going to take, what equipment you've got available. It's then going to look up a knowledge base of your existing session plans. And then based on the AI prompt we give it, it's going to chuck back out a highly curated training session that ticks all the boxes with all the variables that you've put in. And again, the key bit is that it's based on your own knowledge base, not on a generic template session. So this is how it's going to work. You've got your Hyrox training program generator form to begin with, and that's where you input all the key information. The next step is then it's going to look up this knowledge base, which is a table within Zapier, which has different program types with how long they're going to take, the equipment required for that session, the experience of the group for that session, the focus area, the exact session format that that session is going to take. So for example, here we've got the warm-up, the main session, and the cool-down, all the key exercises included, and then any notes, how to modify exercises, any kind of key considerations for that session type. So once the prompt has then looked up inside this knowledge base, it's then going to design the session based on the variables and the slight changes that you want from the session design, and then it's going to send that session to you, and it takes under 60 seconds. So pretty cool tool. I'm just going to walk you through exactly how this works. So first of all, here's the table. You're going to input the data. So imagine now you're running Hyrox sessions, and rather than having to think for hours every week about the variables you want to change and how you're going to design the session and coming up with those different variations, all you really need to do is just input the key variables that you want. So let's say in this example that we want a Hyrox circuit session today, and it's a 45-minute session. The equipment we've got for this session, let's say we've got some kettlebells, a sled, some battle ropes, and let's throw in a ski erg as well. Okay, so those are the key pieces of kit that we're going to use for this session. So basically we're constraining what the prompt is going to be able to use to design the session that it then gives us, but it's going to look up in this knowledge base in a second of those previous sessions to see, okay, what format is it going to broadly take, and then how can we modify that based on the equipment available. Within the experience of the class, let's say that actually it is a fairly advanced group. They've been in these classes for around 2 years, so we aren't really too constrained by the technical competency or the ability of the group. The primary focus area for this, let's say it's more of an endurance focus session, and let's say we also want a little bit of general fitness as well. Okay, so far we have inputted that we want a Hyrox session of 45 minutes. We've got kettlebells, a sled, battle ropes, and a ski erg. The group's 2 years plus training age. They're fairly advanced. Primary focus areas is endurance and general fitness. And then any special requirements or notes. So one of the key things in any group-based session is that you want to have scale within the session. So although, let's say, most of the group are fairly advanced, maybe we've got one or two in the group who actually aren't that advanced, and they need a little bit of scaled back versions of the exercises that we want to give. So in this example, let's say in this session, we've got 3 clients who are relatively new to Hyrox. These clients need versions of the main exercises that provide simpler alternatives. Please provide them with these options plus some key coaching points. For example, let's say with the sled, please emphasize 1 to 2 key things for the coaches to emphasize. Okay, and that's one consideration then. Like, one of the key things any group session is going to be how you scale it for individuals. So let's say that's a key consideration for this group. And let's say that one of the group is also carrying a sort of minor injury. So one of the group is carrying a minor calf strain injury, grade 1. So please give a simpler alternative for any lower body focused exercises. These should not make the injury worse and should be upper body ideally. Okay, so when now you've essentially just scaled this for the fact that you've got a couple of clients in the group who are new, so they need something a little bit more simple, and one of the groups carrying a kind of minor calf strain, so we're going to basically adapt this so that it's more of an upper body focused session. Now, because we've got kettlebells, we've got sled, we've got battle ropes and a ski erg, well, there's already some clear options that the AI can use to scale the session for that individual. And then what we're going to do is just plug in our email, and that's where it's going to send the session. Now, the exact prompt that I've written, I will go through in just a second, but essentially what's going to happen is it's going to take our variables now, it's going to look up the knowledge base of these sessions within our Hyrox session table, and it's then going to design the session based on those key variables we've inputted, but with those customizations that we're now looking for and the time frame as well. So although, for example, this template is 60 minutes, it's going to scale it back to 45. Obviously, this template has got dumbbells and barbells included, and we're not going to use that in our session, so it's going to remove those. So that's what's going to happen. Now I'm going to just generate the program, nice and simple, and I'll say it will be program generation requested. I'm going to start a timer now, see how long this takes. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to dive back into what the prompt is for this Hyrox session builder. So if we go back in, we want the AI step. So as we can see in the AI step, what's going to happen is once the table's been looked up, so the form has been completed, the table's then looked up, the AI then takes the workout type, duration, the equipment, and all those variables we've inputted, and then the prompt is this one. You're an elite Hyrox coach and session designer. Your task is to generate a detailed, personalised training session based on the coach's specific requirements. Now, the role is expert fitness coach, create sessions that are safe, proven templates, clear structure. And then basically give it its clear requirements we're looking for. So in this case, I've given it match the client specifications, uses the template as a foundation, professional session structure, and then an exact output format that we're looking for. And obviously, all of this can be completely customized. So essentially what it's then doing is it's looking into that table. As you can see, it's now come through in under 60 seconds. So it's taken the input form, looked at the table. The AI prompt then has taken all of those pieces of information, constructed a session based on the format that we want, and then emailed us that session in under 60 seconds. So super powerful. So here's the session. So as you can see, what it's done is it has labeled it as Hyrox Endurance and Fitness Circuit. The specifications are a Hyrox circuit 45 minutes. It's included these different variables around the kit, the experience level, focus. It's included the fact they've got some relatively sort of inexperienced athletes and one who's got the calf injury. So it then gives a warm-up, and obviously all this can be customized. You can give more depth and detail around what those sessions look like in terms of what the warm-up's going to look like, how much kind of coaching points you want to include around this as well, but it gives you this kind of core focus. The main workout then is 30 minutes. So you've got a 10-minute warm-up, 5-minute cool-down, 30-minute main workout for a 45-minute session. Then it's created a 6-round circuit followed by a flow format of 90 seconds of rest after each. So you've got 30 seconds of battle rope, 20-meter sled push, kettlebell swings, ski erg, and then a modification for lower body. Clients with a calf strain will perform a seated dumbbell shoulder press, 12 reps instead of exercises involving the lower body. So that could be substituted in for the sled push, for example. It could be they're going to do a seated shoulder press during the sled push instead, just to avoid that calf issue. Cool down then, 5 minutes of static stretching. It's got the key coaching points here for the battle ropes, for the sled push, for the kettlebell swings, for the ski erg. And obviously what you can do with this is build up a bank of key coaching points based on your own knowledge as well, because at the moment this is fairly basic, but you could add in as many coaching points as you want and a lot more depth. And again, it's almost like extracting your own brain this key output here, because it's not just creating some generic program, it's looking at your own knowledge base. And that's the key thing here with utilizing AI for program building. It's not so much outsourcing it and making a generic, just basic, thought through session. It is designing something that is literally based on your own brain. So that's the benefit. Now, the progressions, it's also going to give you over 2 to 4 weeks. It's going to give you modifications. For the beginners, reduce the distance to 10 meters, utilize kettlebells, how to adjust the ski ergs, how to adjust it for the calf strain. So as you can see, a very, very powerful program builder that essentially takes one input form, which then looks up your own knowledge, is essentially extracting your own brain knowledge base, and then it's going to throw back out to you in the exact format that you want, the session design for that 45-minute Hyrox session, and that is taken under 60 seconds to do. So if you imagine, the alternative to this is that you sit there trying to map out what all the coaching points are going to be, what the format of the session is going to be, how to modify it, how to think about those athletes who are new to the session, how you're going to modify it for those guys. Once you've built a session, which you've done manually, you can then add it to the knowledge base. And as the knowledge base gets more powerful and more knowledgeable, it becomes more able to customize it over time. So you're building leverage into your own program building, because you're not just you're not cheating in the sense, you're not just outsourcing it to AI. What you're doing is you're adding your own knowledge base, and then the AI is creating the variations for you based on your own variables. So it's as if it can extract the knowledge from your brain faster and produce the variables without you having to manually do that. And that saves a ton of time every single week, but the quality of the sessions still remain high, because again, it's your sessions. They're not generic sessions. They actually come off the back of your own knowledge. So that's the really cool thing about this. So if you'd be interested in seeing how this could work for your own session types, whether it's Hyrox, CrossFit, whether it is yoga, whether it is PT-based sessions, conditioning sessions in S&C, whatever that looks like, then get in touch below, and we'll be more than happy to give you a bit of guidance around how this type of program builder can be super powerful for extracting your own knowledge and creating variations to different session types.